Good morning and welcome to episode 5, Schools, Systems, and the Path Forward, the final episode. The questions we'll answer in this episode include: how do wounded children impact classroom dynamics? What systemic misunderstandings create barriers for families? And what does healing in relational mean in practical terms? Classrooms are changing, systems are overwhelmed, and families often feel alone and unheard. In this final episode, we explore how the invisible wounds from earlier episodes show up in schools, disrupting learning and straining relationships, and challenging even the most dedicated educators, and why, despite policies and programs, healing still depends on the power of consistent, trustworthy adults who show up day after day with presence and patience. Teachers today face challenges few were trained for their preparation programs. Classrooms often feel chaotic. Students who want to learn sit beside others who are deeply dysregulated, struggling to sit still, focus, or manage big emotions. A single outburst, withdrawal, or defiant response can ripple outward, pulling teacher attention away from instruction, heightening stress for peers, and eroding the sense of safety for everyone. Dysregulated behaviors, from hypervigilance and aggression to shutdowns and chronic absenteeism, stem from trauma's effects on the developing brain. Traumatized children may struggle with executive functions like attention, impulse control, and emotional regulation, making everyday classroom demands feel overwhelming. They might misread neutral cues as threats, react intensely to perceived rejection, or withdraw entirely. This not only affects their own learning, such as trouble concentrating, memory issues, or giving up on tasks, but disrupts the group dynamic. Lost instructional time, increased peer tension, and higher teacher burnout. Many parents, seeing these patterns, turn to homeschooling, private schools, or charter options simply to protect their children's learning environment and emotional well-being. As educators, my wife and I have seen firsthand how respect for teachers has eroded and how disruptive behaviors often go unaddressed due to overwhelmed systems. When adults aren't held accountable or supported to respond effectively, children learn the wrong lessons, that chaos wins, or that their pain doesn't matter. Punitive responses like frequent suspensions can re-traumatize, reinforcing mistrust and disconnection rather than building skills. Systems struggle too. Child welfare, education, mental health, and juvenile justice often operate in silos, with poor coordination leading to fragmented care. Families face barriers like long wait lists for trauma-specific services, transportation issues, insurance gaps, inconsistent access to trained providers, and policies that prioritize compliance over compassion. Misunderstandings persist. Behaviors labeled as willful defiance or laziness instead of survival responses. Assumptions that tough love or zero tolerance fixes problems without addressing root causes. These gaps leave children falling through the cracks, with needs unmet and cycles continuing. But after more than 3 decades in this work, supporting children, training professionals, and walking alongside families, one truth stands above the rest. Healing is relational. Children do not recover through programs alone, no matter how evidence-based programs provide tools, structure, and skills like emotional curricula, calm down spaces, or restorative circles. But true repair happens in the context of safe, consistent relationships. What does this mean practically? It means adults who show up reliably, even when a child pushes away, testing safety, respond with curiosity and calm rather than reactivity. I see you're struggling, but I'm here. Build trust through small, predictable acts, greeting by name, following through on promises, validating feelings without judgment. Model self-regulation so children can borrow calm from a regulated adult. Use trauma-informed strategies like predictable routines, sensory supports, positive reinforcement over punishment, and restorative practices that repair harm and rebuild connection. These relational anchors can help rewire the brain's stress response, foster secure attachment, and create corrective emotional experiences that counteract past betrayals. A single attuned teacher, foster parent, mentor, or adoptive parent can make profound differences, helping a child feel seen, safe, and worthy. Yet this work requires support, training and trauma-informed practices, self-care for adults to avoid secondary or boomerang trauma, and systemic shifts toward collaboration across agencies. Thank you for joining us for this 5-part journey through the unseen wounds children carry and the paths toward healing. If there's one message to carry forward, it's this: hurting children don't need perfection, they need presence. They need adults who refuse to give up, who see beyond behaviors to the pain beneath, and who commit to showing up relationally day in and day out. They need a community, schools, systems, families that understands the patterns no one warned us about and responds with compassion and courage. Healing isn't a quick fix. It's a relationship rebuilt over time. Thank you for being part of that work. And remember, programs support healing, but people create it. Consistent, attuned relationships with trustworthy adults are the foundation for recovery, rewiring trust and self-regulation where trauma disrupted them. Remember, trauma shows up in classrooms as dysregulation that disrupts dynamics for everyone. Reduced focus, strained peer-teacher relations, and lost learning time. But trauma-informed responses, such as being predictable, connection, restorative approaches, can restore safety and engagement. Remember, systemic barriers like poor coordination, resource shortages, and punitive mindsets hinder families and children. Shifting to collaborative, trauma-informed systems requires training, policy changes, and prioritizing relational repair over compliance alone. Remember, healing is relational. It means presence over perfection, curiosity over judgment, and commitment to showing up as a safe anchor, even when it's hard. If you have any questions or comments, email me at Dr. Ed Shoemaker, PhD, LMHC at Mr. Ed's Circle of Trust. Subscribe to our Substack, Elevate Minds Above Politics.substack.com. Our Substack is priceless. We're offering a special annual subscription price through February for $30. Thank you, and have a great week.